Hey guys, Justin James here with the 10-7, and I'm going to talk about UFC 310 Pantoja versus Asakura. Guys, what an incredible matchup. What an incredible pickup from the UFC. You know, you talk about the rising champion. He was the bantamweight champion over Ryzen, 135 pounds. For him to make his UFC debut, to go over. I know he lost the fight. He got submitted in the second round. But I tell you what, guys, this guy is reckless. He's exactly what the 125-pound division needs. You know, there's always speculation that Dana White is going to get rid of the 125-pound division. Although I feel that these are the fastest, most exciting fighters in the world, unfortunately, they're just not providing the knockouts and the finishes that the casual fan wants to see. And not even just the casual fan, the fan like me. For me, I don't really care to watch grappling. Even from a grappling wrestling background, I want to see big knockouts. I want to see highlight finishes. And this is exactly what Asakura brings to this division, guys. This guy is relentless in his pursuit, looking for the knockout. Unfortunately for him, what's going to be the end of his demise, or what's going to lead to his demise, is that, you know, he's a wild card, man. He opens up a lot of opportunities for his opponent to counterpunch, to take him down, and to submit him. Remember, coming over from an Asian company like One Championship, Ryzen, their kickboxing is going to be the best in the world. Watching One Championship, you know, I watch guys from the UFC that have incredible kickboxing backgrounds like Sage Northcutt. He transferred over to that promotion. It was either One or it was Ryzen. I think it was One Championship. And he gets starched, you know, in one of his fights, guys. I do believe One Championship and Ryzen do have the best kickboxers in the world. Unfortunately, kickboxing is only a small piece of MMA. I do believe Carr is going to have success in the UFC. I believe the UFC is going to set him up for success because of his exciting style, because of exciting nature. Because again, he's a guy that, you know, that I can relate to, that, you know, he lives by the sword and dies by the sword. You know, he puts a lot on the risk, again, throwing these wild combos, leaving himself open to be countered. Guys, tell me what you thought of that fight. What is next for Ian Garry? UFC 310, I feel the UFC put him in a bad spot. I did not like this matchup. As for a fan, I love the matchup. As from a business standpoint, I don't love the matchup. We're talking about two undefeated prospects coming onto the scene, both smoking hot. Unfortunately, when you put two undefeated prospects, you know, in a big fight like this, one of them is going to take the loss. And sometimes recovering from a loss can be detrimental to someone's career. You know, I think the UFC should have padded these guys a little bit more, got them both into title contention. Maybe had Shavkat fight for the title, and if he won, then they can have a title fight against two undefeated guys. You know, unfortunately, you know, even the lead up to the fight, I didn't feel confident for Ian Garry. He was a huge dog in the fight. The fight was a lot closer than I thought. Ian Garry and Shavkat displayed some great grappling skills. Ian Garry, you know, towards the end of the fight, had him in a body lock, threatening that rear naked choke, just to go to show the evolution of Ian Garry's wrestling and grappling game. I thought he looked phenomenal. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to become the undefeated, now 19-0. Only 18 finishes, though, Shavkat. Now, moving on, what's next for Ian Garry? Guys, I think the UFC needs to lob a pitch up at this guy so Ian Garry can hit a home run. I really want Ian Garry to fight the winner of Joaquin Buckley and Colby Covington. I think Colby can still win this fight. Although Joaquin is 5-0 at welterweight, you know, the wrestling of Colby, I don't like Colby, and I want him to lose every fight, but I want him to win at least enough fights to get to Ian Garry, so where he can't duck him anymore. The trash talk among these two fighters would just be an incredible sight to see at the presser. And at the end of the day, you know Ian Garry is going to come out victorious in that match. Now, Colby has to get by Buckley to make this happen. What other matchups would you guys be interested in? I also heard Leon Edwards. See, here's the thing. I don't like the Leon Edwards matchup. If he goes and fights Leon Edwards and he loses to Leon Edwards, now it's going to put him on a 2-fight skid. He's going to drop to the back 10 in the ranking system, and it just goes to show he can't beat the guy that lost to the champ. I do not think that's the right matchup for Ian Garry. All right, like I said, I'm going to reiterate. I want the UFC to lob this guy a slow pitch so he can hit it out of the park. Colby Covington is my choice for that guy. Ian Garry will go in there. Whether Colby wins or loses in Joaquin Buckley, I think Ian Garry and Colby need to be next. Guys, tell me what you think in the comments.